Namaste. Many great people have been born in this world and influenced the world. Their legacy, their message, and their life inspires the human mind for millenniums. Swami Vivekananda, one of the greatest son of India, who could influence the whole world in a short span of his life. What he was not, being a monk, he was a patriot. He was always upholding the truth, justice, love, compassion. He was the true friend of all. There was no division, there was no demarcation between cultures, between countries. All human race is one. Equality, which is the supreme truth in any way, according to Hindu or Vedanta. That unity of all of us is that which we all should realize. Maitri, a group dedicated to all the positive values in the world, is celebrating 158th birthday of Swami Vivekananda by presenting a musical with narration in English to celebrate Swamiji's birthday and also to share with the whole world the message, the universal message given by Swami Vivekananda. My best wishes and regards to all the artists who participated in this event. Thank you.
তুমি च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्म स्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय राम कृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदा देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोश्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। ॐ नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्द सूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय साविने
On this 158th anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, we celebrate by remembering some of the most important moments in his life. In this program today, we start by reading excerpts from his first speech, which was in response to the welcome he was given at the World Parliament of Religions. And when he began his speech in his baritone voice with "My sisters and brothers of America," which thundered around the hall as everyone broke into a loud applause, honoring Swamiji with a standing ovation. And as we go along, we move on to discussing the paper which he presented on Hinduism, which actually forms the focus of today's program. Swamiji was himself not only an accomplished writer and a speaker, but he was also a trained musician and a singer himself. During his life, he had composed a number of songs which mirrored his thoughts and philosophy. Hence, in today's presentation, extracts from his speeches are interwoven with the hymns and songs composed and or sung by Swamiji, thus enriching the experience. The songs have been presented by the artists from different countries who in their lives have been deeply influenced by Swamiji's teachings themselves.
Mara
1893, in response to the welcome, Swamiji asserted, "I come from the most ancient order of monks in the world, the Vedic order of sannyasins, a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. The centerpiece for the approach is the religious pluralism expressed in the statement, 'many paths, one goal', which is frequently translated into the assertion that the religions are true." So spoke Swamiji. Brothers and sisters of America, I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and nations of the earth. I am proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom the purest remains of the Israelites who came to southern India and took refuge with us in the very year in which the holy temple was shattered to pieces by Roman tyranny. I am proud to belong to the religion which has sheltered and is still fostering the remnant of the grand Zoroastrian nation. I will quote to you, brethren, a few lines from a hymn which I remember to have repeated from a early boyhood, which is every day repeated by millions of human beings. Ruchinang vitrya drijakutila nanang pathajushang ninameko gamastamasi paya samarnaba eva. As the different streams having their sources in different places all mingle their water in the sea, so, O Lord, the different paths which men take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to Thee. The present convention, which is one of the most august assemblies ever held, is in itself a vindication, a declaration to the world of the wonderful doctrine preached in the Gita. Je jathamang prapadyante tang sathaiva bhajamyaham mama bhartanubartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. Whosoever comes to me, through whatever form, I reach him. All men who are struggling through paths which in the end they all lead to me.
হৃদয় প্রাণ লহ লহ তুমি কি বলিব যা কিছু আছে মম সকলি লহ হে নাথ হে সুন্দর শোভা হে সুন্দর
In the subsequent part of our program, we will be reading from the excerpts of the speech which Swami Vivekananda delivered, titled The Paper on Hinduism, at the World Parliament of Religions on September 19, 1893. His speech became an important document in the history of modern religious tolerance. In this speech and others that Vivekananda delivered to the Parliament that September, he introduced Hinduism to the Western world. In the lecture Paper on Hinduism, 19 September 1893, Swamiji elaborated the Vedanta philosophy. The concept of creation is without beginning or end. The human being is not body but an eternal spirit, and the spirit is subject to multiple births and deaths in its quest for perfection through reincarnation. Concept of perfect soul or mukti, which means freedom from the bonds of imperfection, death and misery. Vedas teach us that there is no beginning nor an end to creation. So there was never a time when there was no creation. This is what the Brahmin boy repeats every day. Surya Chandra Maso Dhata Jatha Purvam Kalpayatha. Surya Chandra Maso Dhata Jatha Purvam Kalpayatha. The sun and the moon the Lord created like the suns and moons of previous cycles, and this agrees with the modern sciences. So then, The Hindu believes that he is a spirit. Him the sword cannot pierce. Him the fire cannot burn. Him the water cannot melt. Him the air cannot dry. The Hindu believes that every soul is a circle whose circumference is nowhere, but whose center is in his body. He also believes that the soul is bound by the conditions of matter. In its very essence, it is free. He also believes that the soul cannot be bound by the conditions of the matter. So it is free, unbounded, holy, pure and perfect. But somehow or the other, the soul finds its way into the matter and thinks of itself as matter. The human soul is external and immortal, perfect and infinite, and death means only a change of center from one body to the other. The present is determined by our past actions and the future by the present. The soul will go on evolving, up or reverting back to its lower forms, from birth to birth and from death to death. But then there is a question. Is a man a tiny boat in a tempest, raised one moment on the foamy crest of billow and dashed down into a yawning chasm the next, rolling to and fro at the mercy of good and bad actions, a powerless, helpless wreck in an ever-raging, ever-rushing, uncompromising current of cause and effect? A little moth placed under the wheel of causation, which rolls on crushing everything in its ways and waits not for the widow's tears or the orphan's cry.
তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুব তারা, এ সমুদ্রে আরো কবু হব না কো পথহারা। তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুব তারা, যেথায় আমি যাই না কো তুমি প্রকাশিত থাকো, যেথায় আমি যাই না কো তুমি প্রকাশিত থাকো, আকুল নয়ন জলে ঢালো গো কিরণ ধারা। তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুব তারা। তব মুখ সদা মনে জাগিতেছে সঙ্গোপনে, তিলেকো অন্তর হলে নাহেরি কুল কিনারা। তব মুখ সদা মনে জাগিতেছে সঙ্গোপনে, তিলেকো অন্তর হলে নাহেরি কুল কিনারা। কখনো বিপথে যদি ভ্রমিতে চাহে হৃদয়ে, কখনো বিপথে যদি ভ্রমিতে চাহে হৃদয়ে, অমনি ও মুখ হেরি শরমে সে হয় সারা। তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুব তারা।
Some are born happy, enjoy perfect health with beautiful body, mental vigor, and all wants supplied. Whereas others are born miserable. Some are without hands, some without feet. Others again are idiots and only drag on a wretched existence. Why? Why at all, if they are all created by the same Creator? Why does just and merciful God create one happy and the other unhappy? Why is He so partial? Well, the present is determined by our past actions and the future by the present. The soul will go on evolving up or reverting back from birth to birth and death to death. And that is what the Hindu believes in. And he accepts this inequality amongst different creatures. The spirit is subject to multiple births and deaths as it evolves on its quest for perfection. Taking all this to granted, how is it then that I do not remember anything of my past life? This can be easily explained. For example, I am now speaking to you in English. My mother tongue is Bengali. But no words of my mother tongue are now present in my consciousness. But let me try to bring them up, and they rush in. That shows that consciousness is only on the surface of the ocean of the mind. Try and struggle. They would come up and you would be conscious, even of your past life. This is direct and demonstrative evidence. Verification is the perfect proof of a theory. And here is the challenge thrown to the world by the rishis. We have discovered the secret by which the very depths of the ocean of memory can be stirred up. Try it and you would get a complete reminiscence of your past life.
Adi
Is there no escape? Was the cry that went up from the bottom of the heart of despair. It reached the throne of mercy, and words of hope and consolation came down and inspired a Vedic sage to announce before the world in a trumpet voice, proclaiming the glad tidings. Hear, ye children of immortal bliss, even ye that reside in higher spheres. I have found the Ancient One who is beyond all darkness, all delusions. Knowing Him alone, you shall be saved from death over and over again. Children of immortal bliss. What a sweet and a hopeful name. Allow me to call you all children of immortal bliss, brethren by this sweet name. You are the heirs of immortal bliss. Yeah. The Hindu refuses to call you sinners. You are the children of God, the sharers of immortal bliss, holy and perfect. You divinities on earth. Sinners? It's a sin to call a man so. It is standing libel on human nature. Come up, O lions, and shake off the delusion that you are sheep. You are souls immortal, spirits free, blessed and eternal. You are not matter, you are not bodies. Matter is your servant, not you the servant of matter.
Tamasa parastha
Bhayayat Agni Tapati. The fire burns due to the fear of the Brahmin. Bhayat tapati surya. Because of the fear of Brahman, sun shines. Bhayat indrascha vayuscha. Indra and Vayu perform their functions due to the fear of that all-powerful. Mrityurdhavati panchama. Even death performs its duty due to the fear of God. And what is God's nature? Well, firstly, He is everywhere. He is the pure and formless, One, the Almighty and the All-Merciful. Thou art our Father, Thou art our Mother, Thou art our friend. Thou art the source of strength. Give us the strength. He that beareth the burdens of the universe, help me bear the little burden of this life. Thus sang the Rishis of the Vedas. And how to worship Him? Through love. He is to be worshipped as the one beloved, dearer than everything in this and the next life. Sri Krishna taught that a man ought to live in the world like a lotus leaf, which grows in the water but is never moistened by it. So a man ought to live in this world, his heart to God and his hands to work. It is good to love God for hope of reward in this or the next world, but it is far better to love God for love's sake. And the prayer goes, Lord, I do not want wealth, nor learning. If it be thy will, I shall go from birth to birth, but grant me this, that I may love thee without hope of reward, love unselfishly for love's
নিকেতনে
একবার প্রাণ করে দিও দোহাই রাজা সে পথে রাজা প্রবল প্রতাপ চলো নিজ নিকেতনে মন চলো নিজ Vedas teach that the soul is divine, only held in the bondage of matter. Perfection will be reached when this bond will burst, and the word they use for it is therefore mukti, freedom. Freedom from the bonds of imperfection, freedom from death and misery. And this bondage can only fall off through the mercy of God, and the mercy comes on the pure. So purity is the condition for His mercy. How does that mercy act? He reveals Himself to the pure heart. The pure and the stainless see God, yes, even in this.
चाहे तो
does not consist in struggles and attempts to believe a certain doctrine or dogma, but in realizing, not in believing, but in being and becoming. Thus the whole object of their system is by constant struggle to become perfect, to become divine, to reach God and see God. And this reaching of God, seeing God, becomes perfect, even as the Father in heaven is perfect, constitutes the religion of the Hindu.
Ah
And what becomes of a man when he attains perfection? He lives a life of bliss infinite. He enjoys infinite and perfect bliss, having obtained the only thing in which man ought to have pleasure, namely, a union with God and enjoyment of the bliss in this union with God. So perfection is absolute, and the absolute cannot be two or three. It cannot have any qualities. It cannot be an individual. And so when a soul becomes perfect and absolute, it must become one with Brahman, and it would only realize the Lord in the perfection, the reality of its own nature and existence. The existence absolute, knowledge absolute, and bliss absolute. Science has proven it to me that physical individuality is a delusion, that really my body is one little continuously changing body in an unbroken ocean of matter, and Advaita is a necessary conclusion with my other counterpart. Thus, the science of religion becomes perfect when it would discover Him who is the one life in a universe of death, Him who is the constant basis of an ever-changing world.
Shikad Jalona
One day, in the Kosapu garden, I had expressed my prayer to Sri Ramakrishna with great earnestness. Then in the evening, at the hour of meditation, I lost the consciousness of the body and felt that it was absolutely non-existent. I felt that the sun, the moon, the space, time, either and all had been reduced to a homogeneous mass and then melted far, far away into the unknown. And the body consciousness had almost vanished and I had nearly merged with the Supreme. But I had just a trace of feeling of ego, so I could again return to the world of relativity from the Samadhi. In this state of Samadhi, all the difference between I and the Brahman goes away. Everything is reduced into unity, like the waters of the infinite ocean. Water everywhere, nothing else exists. Language and thought all fail there. Then only is a state beyond mind and speech realized in its actuality. Otherwise, as long as the religious aspirant thinks or says, I am the Brahmin, I and the Brahmin, these two entities persist. There is then involved a semblance of duality, which is not the Advaita. Man is to become divine by realizing the divine. Idols or temples or churches or books are only their supports. They help of his spiritual childhood. But on and on he must progress. He must not stop anywhere. External worship, material worship, say the scriptures, is the lowest stage struggling to rise high. Mental prayer is the next stage, but the highest stage is when the Lord has been realized. Mark, the same honest man who is kneeling before the idol tells you, him the sun cannot express, nor the moon nor the stars. The lightning cannot express him, nor what we speak of as fire. Him they shine. To the Hindu, man is not traveling from error to truth, but from truth to truth, from lower to higher truth. The Lord has declared to the Hindu in his incarnation as Krishna, I am in every religion as a thread through a string of pearls. Wherever thou seest extraordinary holiness and extraordinary power, raising and purifying humanity, know thou that I am there. Therefore I challenge the world to find throughout the whole system of Sanskrit and Vedic philosophy any such expression as that Hindu alone will be saved and not others. Says Vyasa, we find perfect men even beyond the pale of our caste and creed. Hence, my friends, I call upon you all to make a universal religion, a religion of humanity. It must be one which will have no location and place, or time, which will be infinite like the God it will preach, and whose sun will shine upon the followers of Krishna as of Christ, and on saints and sinners alike, which will not be Brahmanic or Buddhistic, Christian or Mohammedan. It will be an universal human religion.
Hare